Here in front of me, we've got another battery from the brand Redodo, which we'll be reviewing in this video today. So what we're going to be getting into and diving into this video is we're going to be looking at the full capacity, the real true capacity of this battery. And I also did a BMS test, which actually extends out to another video where I was testing out a 2000 watt inverter with this Redodo 12 volt 100 amp hour mini. So in case you're interested, you can have a look at that video, but today we're going to be focusing on the review on this Redodo 12 volt 100 amp hour mini battery. So for those who are not familiar, there seems to be like three main battery sizes. So we've got Group 31, Group 24, and then the mini, which is like the new one which has come out. There are a few other ones actually, but we're just going to be focusing on those three for this review. And one of the reasons why this battery is quite interesting is purely because of its weight and its size. So it's one of the smallest ones that you can get from Redodo in the 100 amp hour series. If you go for the 50 amp hour, then you can obviously get an even smaller battery. But for most people, they want the most amount of capacity out of a very small package. So I did run a battery capacity test. So just watch through to the end of this video and you'll see a point where I will share with you the results from my battery capacity test. So one of the reasons why the mini is so light is because it's using pouch cell technology instead of prismatic cells. And long story short, one of the benefits of pouch cells is that they're actually lighter than prismatic cells. Prismatic cells are more robust and they've got like a metal casing around them, but they just can't get them right now, the current technology, they can't get them down to the same size, the same footprint that a pouch cell takes up. But in terms of performance, the pouch cells or prismatic cells, you're going to get the same performance out of both of them. Briefly, in terms of the boxing, I was really happy that it was well packaged and you get all of the accessories that you need to get started and you get all the documentation that you need within the box. Keep in mind, in terms of charging the battery, you will either need to get a AC to DC brick charger, or you could also get an MPPT solar charger, which I have made a video explaining that, and you can have a look at that video in case you're interested. So in terms of testing out the BMS, I did actually do a video, a full in-depth video on testing out the inverter. So I already kind of got some numbers out of that. If you want to look at the review on the inverter, the 2000 watt Redodo inverter, you can have a look at that for more information. Essentially, I did a test with my induction stove where I put a pot of water on the induction stove, and then I basically connected up two minis together. If you want to run 2000 watts, just keep in mind you are going to need two mini batteries put in parallel or either in series, depending on how you want to set it up. So in my BMS testing, I took two minis, I put them together in parallel, and one mini was drawing about 80 amp hours and the other was drawing about 100. So when I was reading the power, which was going from the minis into the inverter, it was reading 180 amps and it handled it really well. I ran the test for just under 10 minutes and it was running it really well. And just for a bit of context, what I plan to do is that personally from my battery use, from my use case, what I plan to use these batteries for is to run an off-grid cabin. And actually I'm even sending my power to another cabin. So sometimes I'm even using that power to run other appliances elsewhere on the property. And I've even actually successfully been running dishwashers and washing machines, devices that use quite a significant amount of power, and make sure that you're running just one device at a time. But it has been working really, really well. So I definitely recommend having a look at that. If you need a bit more headroom, I would consider going for the 3000 watt inverter. For my needs and for the needs of others, like 2000 watts is actually quite a considerable amount already. So I was really happy with the numbers I got out of the BMS when I was testing out the minis connected up to their inverter. The price tag I've seen, if you go for the like new batteries, which is definitely worth considering because they're basically like buying a brand new one. A person might have returned it because it wasn't suitable for their application. And essentially, if you want, you can get a discount price by going for the like new batteries. Personally, I would genuinely buy one of the like new batteries if it were me, because you're still getting a warranty out of them. But you usually get a fantastic deal if you go for these like new prices. If you want to go for even cheaper, they usually are cutting corners on the quality. So just keep that in mind when you're going for an even cheaper price tag. And definitely if you go with Redodo, you're going to be getting a good quality product, that's for sure. A couple of things to keep in mind with this battery is that it doesn't have low temperature protection, nor is it a self-heating battery, nor does it have Bluetooth capabilities. If you are looking for those capabilities, Redodo do stock those batteries on their website. You can have a look at the affiliate links down below, placed there for your convenience. It's also worth considering that their Group 31 size battery is a really good price at the moment, so I definitely recommend having a look at those if you're looking to save some money. And in case you're interested, I have already done a review on their Group 31 31 battery, so you can have a look at that. But if you're just purely looking for the smallest and the lightest package, then definitely stick with the mini. The weight of this battery is just under 20 pounds. It's around 19 to 20 pounds. When I weighed it, it was about 8.8 kilos or so. So it's definitely around that 9 kilo range, and it's not that heavy. So that's another benefit to when you're going for the mini and using pouch cells, is that you're basically getting a lighter package and it's really compact. It's definitely much smaller than the Group 31 size battery. In terms of weight, a lead acid battery can weigh upwards of 64 pounds, and that's for a 100 amp hour lead acid battery. A Group 31 can weigh about 25 pounds. And then when you go for the mini, which is easily the lightest, just under 20 pounds, consider whenever you're doing off-grid living or wanting to power your boat or golf cart or whatever it is, whatever projects you've got, definitely consider going with the lithium iron phosphate these days. One of the biggest benefits when you're using lithium iron phosphate, it's such a low amount of maintenance. You just connect it up and then you just leave it. There's not a lot of maintenance. The only thing you need to watch out for is the temperature. If you live in a climate of like -5 and below Celsius, -5, then you definitely want to think about having a look at self-heating batteries or low temperature cutoff batteries. That way that protects the cells, because the cells don't like to be charged below -5 degrees Celsius. Long story short, for majority of people, you don't really need low temperature cutoff, nor do you really need self-heating batteries for the majority of people, but there are exceptions. So if you live in a colder climate, definitely have a look at those low temperature cutoff batteries. And there is a slight difference between low temperature cutoff and self-heating batteries. One of the benefits with this battery is you can mount it in any direction. Now, when you're using prismatic cells, they're a little bit more sensitive, so you don't really want to put them on their side. You can actually put this in any orientation, which is pretty cool. I was able to connect it up to my battery capacity tester. That is from a company called A-Torch, the DL24. The wires that come with it are really short, so I was kind of forced to put it on its side, but it did allow me to at least run the test, which is the most important part. As I was drawing DC current, I was able to get over 1300 watt hours out of the battery, which I thought was fantastic. So you're getting over the rated capacity of this battery, which is fantastic. And just keep in mind that over many, many years, that number will obviously fluctuate and change over time. But right off the bat, you're actually getting a really good number out of the battery. And that means that when you're running AC appliances through your inverter and with some conversion losses, you're still getting 1,280 watt hours. And that's just fantastic. Basically, you're going to get a really good capacity out of these batteries. Keep in mind, you can run a DC system instead if you want to. That's definitely more efficient for certain appliances. And I have reviewed a DC controller box. If you want to have a look at that review, I've also got a review on that. Another thing you want to consider is you could go for the Group 24 battery from Redodo, because it's also quite compact. With all of the Redodo batteries I've seen so far, they are offering 5-year warranties on their batteries. So that's really, really good to see. If you're wanting to save a little bit on your purchase, definitely consider using the coupon code TheOneGoodRoad. That's my exclusive code for you guys. You can also run many of these batteries in parallel and series. I believe that it can go up to a 20 kilowatt system. So for the next video, you can have a look at the inverter. Definitely have a look at that, because I review the inverter running with the mini. We'll be having a look at their battery monitor, their shunt that they offer. So definitely have a look at that. I'll explain how to install one eventually. Also, I have a beginner's guide to making up your own DIY solar system. Definitely like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in a future video.